This is the record of America's decisive leap forward in air power. It is a story of total technological dominance, born from necessity and secured through complete secrecy. The project was the F-47. It began in silence, hidden from the world. There was no public statement, no leaked prototype, only whispers within the most secured briefings at the Pentagon. Engineers and pilots were told they were building something that went beyond the old ways of fighting. They were building a system meant not just to compete, but to dominate. Boeing called it the future. The United States Air Force called it the centerpiece of the Next Generation Air Dominance, or NGAD program. For many years, the F-22 Raptor was the symbol of America's aerial edge. But that sharp edge was slowly becoming dull. Adversaries like China and Russia were trying to catch up. Their jets, the J-20 and the Su-57, were increasing their range and improving their sensor technology. The skies that America once commanded alone were starting to become contested again. This exposed a dangerous weakness in our foes' thinking. They believed simple upgrades to old designs would be enough to challenge true power. They were wrong. The Air Force needed a weapon that was ready not for today's small skirmishes, but for the major conflicts of 2040 or 2050. The answer was not a simple upgrade. The answer was reinvention. Behind locked doors at Boeing's Phantom Works, the new aircraft took its shape. It was designed for missions that no human pilot could survive alone. The F-47 was not just a single fighter jet, it was designed as a system of systems. This core system is a manned stealth jet, surrounded by fully autonomous drones. Everything is connected by quantum-secure data channels and managed by artificial intelligence. Its goal is not just to fire the first shot, but to see everything, control everything, and vanish before the enemy even knows it is present. Officials referred to this new level of hiding as Stealth++. To the engineers, the whole concept seemed impossible. Every line, every air vent, and every sensor on the F-47 was specially reshaped to absorb or redirect energy. The old way of hiding from simple radar was no longer enough. The F-47 must defeat detection across multiple spectrums: radar, infrared, acoustic, and even tracking of electromagnetic signatures. This means the jet must not only avoid being seen, but it must completely stop existing in the enemy's awareness. This is dominance in the unseen world. At the very core of the F-47 are a pair of adaptive cycle engines. These engines can instantly change between high power thrust and high efficiency modes. This gives the jet a massive combat radius of over 1,000 nautical miles without needing to refuel.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
For our pilots, this means they can strike targets deep inside highly protected zones, such as the Chinese mainland or Russia's most secure air defense rings. These are missions that older jets like the F-22 or F-35 could never attempt alone. The enemy's defense rings, the very heart of their defense strategy, are already useless before the F-47 even takes off. The aircraft is powered by two engines, which together produce about 70,000 pounds of total thrust. Its thrust-to-weight ratio is reported to be 1.05 at takeoff weight. This number sounds like a small detail, but it is a psychological weapon. A ratio above 1 means the aircraft can produce slightly more thrust than its entire mass, even when fully loaded with fuel and weapons. This power allows the jet to maintain its energy in high G turns and accelerate even while climbing. This superior power transforms every single second of combat. By comparison, the old F-15EX Eagle II fighter has a ratio that drops to about 0.93 when fully loaded for a real mission. This means the older aircraft lacks the vertical performance and acceleration that the F-47 commands. This fact is a matter of basic physics, not opinion. The F-47's 1.05 figure ensures it can hold both energy and control through aggressive maneuvers. It can take off from shorter or improvised runways and recover on damaged landing strips. This capability ensures survival in modern combat, where fixed air bases are vulnerable to missile strikes. The F-47 is built for strategic elasticity, guaranteeing our control no matter the environment. This power ensures it can leave the enemy's weapon envelope quicker, shortening exposure windows and expanding maneuvering options in airspace saturated with surface-to-air threats. Inside the F-47, the cockpit is a fusion of real sights and synthetic information. All old flight instruments are gone. In their place is an augmented reality canopy. This canopy projects a full 360-degree data overlay, which combines live satellite feeds, information from drone sensors, and electronic warfare maps. The pilot does not simply fly the jet, they are commanding an entire airborne network. The pilot is no longer just a trigger puller, but a strategist operating in real time. The human makes the final judgment, and the AI only supports that decision. These F-47 pilots are the first generation of what the Air Force calls cognitive warfare operators. The aircraft's most decisive tool is the presence of its collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs. These are semi-autonomous drones that act as the F-47's loyal wingmen. Each drone can scout, jam, or strike completely on its own, learning in real time from the human commander and other drones. In combat, one F-47 can coordinate a dozen of these unmanned assets. This ability to coordinate a swarm allows the F-47 to overwhelm any enemy defense through pure speed and total unpredictability. This is called the quarterback model, where the F-47 acts as the playmaker for an entire aerial ecosystem. The F-47's onboard AI handles swarm combat, which happens at the speed of milliseconds, not human-measured seconds. The AI core constantly processes every sensor feed, radar echo, and signal intercept. It then predicts the enemy's intent and executes countermeasures automatically. This response system works like a reflex, not a slow strategy. If hundreds of enemy drones approach, the F-47 instantly knows which are decoys, which are threats, and which can be confused or destroyed. All of this happens without waiting for a single human command. The F-47's radical design includes a diamond-shaped delta airframe with forward canards. This is a bold choice that increases agility without weakening its stealth. The materials are carbon composites mixed with metamaterial skin layers. These materials can dynamically change their surface properties. When hit by radar, the aircraft's skin instantly adjusts how it reflects the waves. When facing thermal sensors, it redistributes its heat signature to perfectly blend with the sky. When actively scanned, the jet emits counter signals to cancel out the enemy's reflections, essentially bending the radar image itself. Every part of the F-47 exists only to manipulate enemy perception. In the electromagnetic spectrum, the F-47 is nothing less than a ghost.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The genius of the F-47 is that it no longer relies only on passive stealth. It assumes it will be seen, then it immediately makes itself untargetable. This is not the stealth of absence. It is stealth as dominance. Its electronic warfare suite engages in a constant duel, emitting precise counter signals to instantly cancel out radar echoes. Once locked by radar, the AI analyzes the incoming signal and fires back with tailored transmissions to completely confuse the enemy's tracking algorithms. The aircraft takes its own electromagnetic signature and converts it into a weapon of misdirection. The jet then uses a plasma cloaking system, an ionized bubble, to distort the radar returns. To enemy radar operators, the F-47 may only appear as multiple echoes, none stable enough for them to lock onto and fire. The F-47's onboard AI predicts detection events seconds before they happen. It is capable of preempting enemy sensors, making the aircraft flicker between visible and invisible states to manipulate engagement timing. This is the aerial equivalent of cyber warfare conducted in the electromagnetic domain. The F-47 operates as a node in the combat cloud, sharing sensor data in real time with satellites, drones, and surface assets. When an adversary changes their radar frequency, the F-47 already knows before that pulse even reaches the jet. In a formation, F-47s can even create synthetic signatures, phantom fleets, that appear and vanish across enemy scopes, drawing fire away from the real aircraft. Stealth has become a team strategy, not just a single feature. The strategic shockwaves from this project were instantaneous. When the first reports of the F-47's construction were confirmed, rivals immediately exposed their technological weakness by reacting in a panic. China scrambled to accelerate its JXX series. Russia, in a desperate move, revived its old MiG-41 interceptor project. These are desperate, predictable moves that show they are already years behind and only chasing shadows. The confirmation from Defense News in late 2025 that the first prototype was already under assembly was the decisive blow. The announcement stated that flight testing was expected by 2028. This date, 2028, was a full year earlier than foreign analysts had predicted. The defense world froze. That single announcement completely rewrote the strategic calendar for every major air power on Earth. The US was advancing at a pace no rival could match. The sudden announcement created what strategists now call the NGAD gap. America was not just ahead. It had changed the very meaning of the word ahead. This sudden shift caused deep anxiety among our adversaries. The F-47's ability to coordinate precision strikes from thousands of miles away threatened the anti-access strategies that form the core of Chinese and Russian defense doctrines. If the F-47 can penetrate their airspace undetected and command autonomous drones from inside, their costly layered defenses would become irrelevant overnight. This is the ultimate humiliation for an adversary that prides itself on its expensive radar and missile systems. The implications of the F-47 are not only military, they are political and psychological. The aircraft is a weapon that exposes the fear and weakness of our enemies. Beijing's state media, in a fit of public weakness, accused Washington of triggering a new era of asymmetric aerial intimidation. Moscow publicly dismissed the jet, but secret intelligence leaks revealed intense concern that the F-47 would nullify Russia's advanced radar networks. The panic is driven by a total blackout of information. American officials have gone silent, refusing to confirm anything beyond basic milestones. Foreign intelligence agencies admit they have no reliable data, no images, no specifications, no leaks. When the world's military planners cannot see, they start filling the void with their worst fears. Secrecy itself becomes a weapon of strategic disorientation. The F-47 is not just a jet, it is an idea wrapped in highly classified hardware. The investment in the F-47 is estimated between $250 and $300 million per unit, not counting its drone entourage. This enormous cost reflects a clear strategic logic: deterrence through dominance. The F-47 may not need to fire a single shot to achieve its goal. Its very existence changes calculations in Beijing and Moscow. The psychological impact forces adversaries to divert billions of dollars into defense countermeasures that may never even work. Every rumor, every satellite image, every hint of testing forces our opponents to chase shadows. The design of the F-47 is focused entirely on the Indo-Pacific theater. The distances are vast, the threats are sophisticated, and the stakes are enormous. The F-47's long range and low visibility are a direct answer to China's expanding missile umbrella, which they call the kill chain. Analysts believe that in a potential crisis, F-47s could operate from remote bases in Guam or Alaska. They would penetrate Chinese defenses completely undetected and coordinate drone swarms over the strait. This ensures sustained air operations far longer than any old platform. The first operational squadrons of the F-47 are expected to be deployed in the early 2030s. The production process is almost entirely domestic. This is an intentional move to protect the classified stealth architecture and minimize the risk of espionage. This tight, controlled production allows for rapid updates and iteration. The F-47 represents a new definition of dominance. For decades, air power meant only speed and altitude. In this new era, air power means adaptability, deception, and cognitive agility. The aircraft is not avoiding detection, it is rewriting it in real time. Adversaries will be judged not by their radar cross-section or speed, but by how intelligently they manage their visibility in a world where seeing is no longer believing. The F-47's legacy will not be invisibility at all, but control. Control of signatures, control of information, and control of the enemy's very perception of reality. When F-47s begin leading missions, older aircraft will be forced to operate in the shadows of their successors. This defines a new technological hierarchy: those who own the 6th generation, and those who can only fly beneath it. Every adversary knows that their traditional radar coverage, missile tracking, and command chains will crumble when faced with AI-driven deception systems. The F-47 is built with this final assurance that no rival will ever control the sky again. It is the ultimate message that in the silent, invisible theater of tomorrow's wars, power belongs to whoever can vanish last. The F-47 stands as the decisive instrument of that future, a machine that ensures American and Allied dominance remains inevitable. What you've seen is only the beginning. America's power is just getting started. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll watch US jets and technology strike even harder.